Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Lepner. I'm a member of the Pallet community, and today I wanted to go over my battles using LYCANROC in the Ultra League Weather Cup. So, LYCANROC is an incredibly strong choice in the Ultra League Weather Cup. I haven't been seeing any of them around really. Watching streams and doing my battles myself, I haven't seen a single LYCANROC. But it wins charge move priority versus pretty much all of the Pokemon in the Weather Cup meta. And it also does incredibly high damage with Counter and Psychic Fangs. So Counter is a very strong fast move that is fighting type and is 2 turns. So it's just absolutely brutal in the Weather Cup. The Psychic Fangs is a Psychic type move that doesn't do too much damage, but it lowers the opponent's defense by 1 stage. So you see here that I actually have a TapuFemi in the lead. I have a LYCANROC as a swap. So if I swap in my LYCANROC, they might swap in something like an Empoleon or a Blaziken. And so Empoleon, even though it's going to be doing super effective damage with its waterfalls, with Hydro Cannon, it's going to be also taking super effective damage from the counters. And because of the fact that Psychic Fangs debuffs its defense by 1 stage, it's actually going to lose against LYCANROC in a 1-shield scenario. And it does not get to the second Hydro Cannon before LYCANROC counters it down. Blaziken will actually have to shield versus LYCANROC because Blaziken is a very delicate Pokemon. It takes a lot of damage from the counters. It takes super effective damage from these Psychic Fangs. And LYCANROC also is the only answer that I have to Abomasnow, which completely decimates both TapuFemi and Credilli in the back. So if I expect the opponent to have an Abomasnow, I do have to try and align my LYCANROC to it. So let's see how these battles go. So first off, I have my TapuFemi against an Empoleon. This is a neutral matchup. I do have to stay in here. And I'm just going to Water Gun. I'm probably going to throw the Moonblast actually because the Moonblast does a lot more damage. It has the possibility of debuffing the Empoleon's attack. So I'm going to throw this Moonblast here. You see that the TapuFemi is a lot bulkier than the Empoleon. The Empoleon, even though we're both doing neutral damage to each other with the fast moves, they're a lot lower damage, even though they hit me with a Drill Peck, which is a neutral damage move, versus my TapuFemi. And then I switch into Credilli, and I bait out a Swampert. So this is really good that my LYCANROC doesn't have to see the Swampert. So this is just an example of predicting the opponent's team and baiting out the Swampert so that the LYCANROC doesn't have to see it. And you're going to see that I survive this Hydro Cannon like a boss. I do throw my Grass Knot here because I'm worried about getting to another Hydro Cannon. The Grass Knot obviously is going to be more than enough to take out the Swampert. And then they come in with the Empoleon, and I don't get to another Grass Knot. I do have to come back in with the TapuFemi. Just kidding! I come in with the LYCANROC, and that's because I'm guaranteed to get in a fast move here. And they immediately throw their charge move. So let's just see that again. They throw their charge move immediately versus the LYCANROC. And because of the fact that they throw that move, I believe that it's going to be a Drill Peck. If they waited a bit, if they saw the right rock typing, it's possible that they would have thrown their Hydro Cannon. But the fact that I threw their charge move immediately was telling me that there was no way that they saw the rock typing immediately. They're going to throw the Drill Peck here. Sure enough, it is the Drill Peck. The TapuFemi would not have been taken out by a Hydro Cannon. And then they come into the wall range. So hook, line, and sinker. They saw the writing on the wall. that is a GG's. Look how much these counters are doing against the Walrein. Oh my gosh. The counters are going to be absolutely brutal. The Psychic Fangs would have debuffed the Walrein's defense, and they recognize that that is a GG's. So let's see what happens next. We have our TapuFemi versus their Swampert. This is a good matchup just because I'm going to be doing neutral damage with the Water Gun. I'm going to be doing neutral damage with the Surf. I can't swap here because of the fact that the LYCANROC has such a negative matchup versus the Swampert. I do correctly shield up an Earthquake. So I saw some Swamperts running Earthquake, some Swamperts running Sludge Wave. But regardless, it's a good idea to shield up as long as you believe that the Swampert is going to go for its heavy hitting move. Here I was correct. And I get the Surf off. They do let the Surf go. And so now I take the Earthquake onto my Credilli. Credilli is going to handle the Earthquake a little bit better than the TapuFemi. And they come into Blaziken. So it's okay that I'm facing the Blaziken versus my TapuFemi, because this Stone Edge is going to do a lot of damage. They shield up the Stone Edge. I am 1 shield up. They have 0 shields. I have 1 shield. Let's see what they want to do. I come back in with the TapuFemi. I'm absolutely chunking with my Water Guns. And so I'm going to shield here because I do know that this is enough for a Brave Bird, but they throw a Blast Burn, which is interesting. And I actually throw my move here because these counters that the Blaziken are throwing is doing a lot of damage. I don't want to take any more counter damage. I don't want to take any... and I actually see that they have an Abomasnow in the back. And this is another situation where LYCANROC is absolutely brutal as a closer. The Stone Edge, boom, takes out the Abomasnow. And that is a good game. So that is one reason why I love LYCANROC so much, is because I saw a lot of Abomasnows in the back, and there are not a whole lot of counters to Abomasnow in this meta, but LYCANROC is definitely one of them, especially when shields are down. So we have a Kabutops here in the lead. The Kabutops is going to be throwing Mud Bombs. I'm going to be throwing my Water Guns, and we tie to a move here. So Kabutops has access to Stone Edge, which is going to do a lot of damage. Boom! That does a lot of damage. But because Kabutops is so fragile as a Pokemon, this Surf is also going to be doing a lot of damage. They shield up the Surf, and then I come in to my LYCANROC, and because the Kabutops is insanely glassy, those counters are going to be doing a lot of damage. Their Mud Shots are also doing super effective damage to me, but they come into an Empoleon. So I could have potentially gone for the Stone Edge and done a lot more damage than with this Psychic Fangs. However, I do recognize that I'm going to get to... Oh, I don't get to 2 Psychic Fangs, so maybe the Stone Edge would have been the correct play. But their defense is debuffed by 1 stage here. And I come in with the TapuFemi. I'm going to survive this Drill Peck if they throw it. They throw the Hydro Cannon. Maybe they're thinking I'm just going to switch out. That would have been a clever play if they did so, but I did not switch out. I survived the Hydro Cannon on my TapuFemi. I have a good amount of health left. And I come in with my Credilli just because I want to get some energy here. They throw their move on the Empoleon. I have a lot of energy. I can take any move that they throw here, but I do decide to shield. It is a Stone Edge. It's good that I shielded there. And they have an Aggron in the back. So Credilli has a positive matchup versus pretty much any other Pokemon as long as shields are down. Because these Grass Knots hit for so much damage, Credilli is very bulky. You're going to see that it can survive any move that the Aggron throws here. The Heavy Slam, not enough to take it out, even though the Credilli does take super effective damage from it. So Credilli's surviving like an absolute boss. The TapuFemi reaching the Surf here just barely and taking out the Aggron. So this should be a good game on my part because I'm able to take out the Kabutops with Bullet Seeds and I get to the Grass Knot. So Kabutops is going to be taken out with this double super effective Grass Knot, and that is a good game. So next we have our TapuFemi into Jellicent. This is an okay matchup for TapuFemi, but they switch immediately into Armaldo. Armaldo is taking super effective damage from the water guns, and I know that this is going to be a cross poison. I know that Armaldo gets cross poison here, and then I'm going to throw the surf. They have to shield with the surf. The cross poison did a lot of damage, but it's non-stab, and then I come into LYCANROC. And I think this is going to be a cross poison again, just because I know that Armaldo takes a lot of time to reach its alternate move. And sure enough, it is a cross poison. And I resist it. I throw this Psychic Fangs here, thinking that I can take out this very glassy Armaldo. Let's see if I can. I cannot! So I have to take another move here, but I think this is just another cross poison. I don't think that they made it to another move. Sure enough, it is a cross poison. And I take them out. They come back in with the Jellicent, and look how much the Stone Edge does against the very bulky Jellicent. The Stone Edge is going to be doing a lot of damage. Boom! That's a lot of damage. And then the Jellicent has to throw a Bubble Beam to take me out. I do expect this to be a Bubble Beam. Sure enough, it is. That does take me out. And now I have to decide what to come in with. So I decide to come in with the Credilli, because the Credilli is a little bit more bulky than the TapuFemi. I can obviously take out this Jellicent with a Grass Knot from this health level, and the Jellicent throws a Shadow Ball. So they could have baited with a Bubble Beam there. I'm very grateful that they did not bait. I have to call this move as a Bubble Beam, and sure enough, it is a Bubble Beam. They did eventually bait there, and they have and Abomasnow in the back, so this is not great. I was telling you guys earlier that Abomasnow is a very strong contender versus both TapuFemi and Credilli. However, the Credilli got a lot of energy versus the Jellicent. So you're seeing that we suffered a lot of lag there, but the Credilli is going to be able to throw this Stone Edge versus the Abomasnow. The Abomasnow lets it go! Look at that damage! That is a lot of damage, and the opponent concedes the match. That is almost all the Abomasnow's health taken by that Stone Edge. Wow. They must have been thinking that I was going to bait there, but I was not about to bait. I'm not about that lifestyle. Let's see the next game. We've got TapuFemi into Jellicent once again. Once again, this is a pretty neutral matchup. Let's see what they want to do. They're staying in this time. They're not switching out. But I'm going to get to this Moonblast. They throw their move. I do think that this is going to be a Shadow Ball. They throw the Shadow Ball. And they come in with another Pokemon that I didn't see yet. They came in with a Ludicolo. So the Ludicolo is going to be taking neutral damage from these Grass Knots here. They are throwing Razor Leafs, and that means that it takes them a lot of time to get through their move. And because of that, I'm actually going to farm them down. The Razor Leafs do a lot of health damage to my Credilli, but they do not reach a charge move, which is really nice. And then they come in with the Jellicent again. I'm wondering, if they're coming with Jellicent, is something in the back even weaker to Credilli than Jellicent is? Because Jellicent is insanely weak to Credilli. I do have to shield this. It could be an Ice Beam. It is just a Shadow Ball, but even a Shadow Ball would have done a lot of damage versus my Credilli. And then I switch into my TapuFemi, and they immediately switch into Credilli. So this is getting interesting. This Grass Knot will actually... It is a Stone Edge. For some reason, they did not throw the Grass Knot, but the Stone Edge is not enough to take me out. And then I get to this Moonblast. I might have been able to get to 2 Surfs here if I had not thrown this Moonblast, but it would have been a very close thing. I don't think I would have quite made it to 2 Surfs. And now we have to see what I want to do. I am going to come into the Credilli because I know that they have to throw their charge move in order to take out my Credilli. And from there, I should be able to just counter down with my LYCANROC. So we suffered from a little bit of lag, but they do throw their move. They throw the Bulldoze. I come into LYCANROC. I should be able to counter down before they reach another Bulldoze. And then they come in with Jellicent. And this Jellicent is not going to be enjoying the Stone Edge. As we saw again, the Stone Edge does about 40% of the Jellicent's health. And from here, I should be able to survive a Shadow Ball, no problem. And a Psychic Fangs should be enough to take out this Jellicent. I should be able to take out the Credilli with counters, and that will be a good game. So Lycanroc in the back here just being absolutely deadly with super effective counters versus the Credilli, and with the Stone Edge damage and the Psychic Fangs damage versus the Jellicent. Here we have a very positive lead. We have the TapuFemi into Regirock. However, Regirock can actually carry Zap Cannon. So we're going to have to see if the Regirock has Zap Cannon here. They did farm up enough for the Zap Cannon. This will do a lot of damage to my TapuFemi. And boom! The Zap Cannon lands. Oh my gosh. And then I have to come right into Lycanroc because I'm at so low health with my TapuFemi. And they come into the Gyarados. I'm not going to bait here. I'm just going to go straight for the biscuit. I hope that this lands, and they shield. So smart shield by the opponent, but they have no shields. I have 2 shields, and from here, I can just double shield my Lycanroc, and I can reach another Stone Edge. So the Lycanroc winning this matchup in the 2 shields, I'm going to reach this Stone Edge. I'm going to farm up a little bit above the Stone Edge, but you can see here that the Dragon Breath is doing a lot of damage to me, so I don't want to farm up too much. I throw the Stone Edge here, and that's more than enough to take out the Gyarados, obviously. And then I just have to spam out these Psychic Fangs versus the Regirock. They actually come in with their Kingdra, and so Kingdra is not going to have a great matchup versus the Credilli when defense is down. So once again, Credilli in the back when there are no shields. Absolutely brutal. And the Kingdra actually stays in. It takes damage from the Stone Edge. You might remember that the Kingdra has its defense debuff because of the Lycanroc. Look how much damage that was. That's a lot of damage versus the Kingdra from the very bulky Credilli. So the Kingdra throws its Outrage, does a lot of damage versus the Credilli, but this Regirock is going to be taking super effective damage from this Grass Knot, and that's going to be all but taking out this Regirock. It does take out the Regirock, and then the Kingdra is going to go down, and that is a good game. So the Kingdra had to switch out there because its defense was debuffed, but they did not. They took the move, and that is a good game. So we have a Golem here, and Golem does not have a great matchup versus TapuFemi. However, I was thinking that this Golem was carrying Volt Switch, which is why I switched out immediately. Golem has an even worse matchup versus my 2 backline versus Lycanroc and Credilli than it does with TapuFemi. So I just do immediately switch out to the Lycanroc. They stay in here, which is interesting. I'm thinking that they're going to go for the Wild Charge, and then they're going to switch. I throw the Psychic Fangs. The Golem is very delicate, so even though Psychic Fangs is a weak, non-stab move, it does do a lot of damage. They throw a Rock Blast into my Lycanroc, surprisingly. And I'm thinking that this is not enough for a Wild Charge, actually, at this point. Sure enough, they do throw another Rock Blast, which is interesting that they did not go for the Wild Charge. And then they come in with Walrein. And Walrein, I see MP tie, I charge move priority tie to their Icicle Spear. I throw the Stone Edge. The Stone Edge does not go through. So maybe I could have thrown a Psychic Fangs there, but that would have been risky on the off chance that they no-shielded the Psychic Fangs. I come in with TapuFemi because of the fact that Walrein's Ice-type moves would absolutely chunk the Credilli. And here, I have to make a call. I do think that this is the Earthquake. Sure enough, it is the Earthquake, which is great because I can throw this Moonblast. The Moonblast will be enough to take him out from this range. So let's see what they want to do. They do shield up their Walrein, so we're both at 0 shields here. And I can take an Earthquake just fine. They cannot take a Moonblast nearly as well. So I take that Earthquake. I throw the Moonblast before they can make it to an Icicle Spear, because the Icicle Spear would still do a lot of damage, even though it's resisted. And then I come in with the Credilli. Once again, Credilli is able to do huge damage to pretty much anything in the Weather Cup as long as shields are down, because it does neutral damage or super effective damage or double super effective damage versus pretty much every Pokemon in the Weather Cup. And you're going to see here the Stone Edge, boom, does more than enough damage to take out the Charizard. That is double super effective damage. The Flying typing takes super effective damage. The Fire typing takes super effective damage from that Stone Edge. So that is very satisfying. Even though the Bullet Seeds are double resist there, the Stone Edge just does so much damage versus those Flying Fire types. It's very satisfying. So here we have our TapuFemi into a Alolan Ninetales. And this is a good matchup because of the fact that TapuFemi reaches its charge moves first. It's going to be doing a ton of damage with these water guns. I actually throw the Moonblast here, which is a questionable play because they're definitely going to shield because they want to win their switch and then they throw their move. So I know that I'm going to survive this charge move and I'm going to maintain my shield advantage. I'm going to come into Lycanroc. They come into Blaziken, so we're going to see how much these Psychic Fangs do against Blaziken. This actually will not KO me. This is just a Blaze Kick, which is resisted by the Lycanroc. This is just showing how bulky Pokemon can be in the Ultra League. And I do a lot of damage with that Psychic Fangs. Unfortunately, I'm not able to reach the second Psychic Fangs. So I come back in with my TapuFemi here, because TapuFemi is going to be taking resisted damage from these counters. I am able to Water Gun them down. I expect I'm going to reach a Surf here, hopefully. I do not. And they have a Lantern in the back. So this is one of the reasons why Credilli is so good in the back, because Lantern is a very strong Pokemon in this meta. However, it has a very negative matchup versus Credilli. Credilli takes only resisted damage from every single one of Lantern's moves. It's going to throw a Surf here. No big deal. The Credilli takes it like a boss. Does maybe 20% of my health, if that. And they throw another Surf. I do shield up this Surf just because I want to farm up a lot on the Lantern. And I have to shield up a move eventually. They come in with the Ninetales. The Ninetales is very slow to reach its charge moves. So I can shield up this Weather Ball safely, knowing that I'm going to reach double moves. I'm already at double moves. I have 2 Grass Knots, and I'm going to be able to take out this Alolan Ninetales. I actually undercharged there because I wanted to get a little more farm versus the Ninetales, but it doesn't matter because they shield. And now you see that I actually reach double Grass Knots again. I take them out with the first Grass Knot. I can take out this Lantern with the second Grass Knot, and that is a good game. Boom! Look at that. And let's see what happens next. We have TapuFemi into Credilli. This is not a good matchup, folks. Even though I'm doing neutral damage with the Water Guns, with the Surfs, I come right into Lycanroc because Lycanroc has a pretty good matchup versus the Credilli. They come into their Kingdra, and Kingdra has a far from safe matchup versus the Lycanroc. Sure, they can potentially debuff me with Octazooka. However, these Psychic Fangs are just absolutely relentless. Debuffing them, I will shield up this Octazooka. And regardless, if this does debuff me, I will get a lot of farm on this Kingdra because there's no way that they make it to another Octazooka before I counter them down. And that's a lot of energy there. And then they come in with their Sand Slash. It would have been a better move to just throw the Stone Edge here. However, these 2 Psychic Fangs are going to double debuff the opponent's defense. And look how much those double super effective counters were doing. Let's not forget that this was double debuffed by the Kingdra. And still they're doing a lot of damage because of the fact that I double debuffed the opponent's defense with those Psychic Fangs. I'm going to come back in with my TapuFemi here, just because the Credilli would take a ton of damage from the Ice Punch that the Sand Slash would throw. So a lot of Sand Slashes have Bulldoze, But they throw Ice Punch, which is really interesting because the Ice Punch is not the correct play. That is resisted. And then they come in with the Credilli again, which was to be expected. The Credilli has taken a pretty good chunk of damage here. I am just going to go straight for Grass Knots because I know that 2 Grass Knots will be enough to take out this Credilli. And I win CMP, so this is absolutely huge because I know that I can throw my charge moves at the same time that they throw their charge moves and that I would be able to throw first. So I shield up this Grass Knot and I am going to... I actually don't throw my charge move here because I know that I survive a Grass Knot here. I survive a Stone Edge. They throw the Grass Knot, and I get to double Grass Knots. So no matter what, they are going to go down here. They either shield and they throw another Grass Knot. They do shield, and then I switch into TapuFemi. They switch into their Sand Slash, and this should be a good game at this point because the Sand Slash, the worst thing it can throw at me is a Bulldoze. And they throw an Ice Punch, which does not hurt all that much. They could have Iron Head as a second move, but it does not appear that the Sand Slash has Iron Head. So, I do take out the Sand Slash. I do throw this Surf at the Credilli. This should be more than enough to take out the Credilli at this point. They do shield up, and then I have a second Surf. So, the Alolan Sand Slash was not able to hold its own versus the TapuFemi. I'm not sure, maybe they were single moved. Maybe they thought that Ice Punches were a better play than throwing a Bulldoze. Once again, they do have access to Iron Head, but they didn't throw the Iron Head for whatever reason. So that is a good game, and all in all, I had a ton of fun with LYCANROC in the Weather Cup. I highly encourage other people to try it out. The Credilli, obviously in the back, absolutely killer. The TapuFemi in the front, I'm a huge fan of TapuFemi as a lead because of the fact that it's very bulky and Water Gun does a ton of damage. It's able to navigate its way around pretty much any neutral situation, even situations where it's taking super effective damage, such as versus the Credilli. It still was able to take care of the Credilli. And yeah, this is a very strong team. So guys, if you guys use LYCANROC in the Weather Cup, if you are having fun in Go Battle League, if you're having trouble in Go Battle League, leave a comment down below. Leave us a like. Once again, my name is Blepnir. And if you guys want to support the Pallet community, take a look at our Patreon in the description down below. And we do stream live on YouTube quite often, pretty much every other day. So if you guys want to see that, then I highly recommend it. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time.